In the 1970s, import cars were really starting to make their appearance in the United States, especially the Japanese import cars. The sporty coupes and roadsters of the time were unlike anything else the US market had seen before, and one car in particular that really became a staple for the Japanese import car of the time was the Nissan Fairlady Z. As decades went on, the love for the Fairlady continued, and the car itself saw multiple new generations being brought to the market. One of those generations I'm sure you're pretty familiar with, since it's arguably one of the most popular sports cars of the early 2000s. Of course, we're talking about the Nissan 350Z. Whether it was introduced to you from the cover of Need for Speed Underground 2 or from DK and his crew whipping them in Tokyo Drift. Either way, 350Z has become a staple for car enthusiasts to want to get their hands on, as a V6 rear-wheel drive coupe tends to be, a lot of fun. So whether or not you just picked up a 350Z or you're looking to do, some odds and ends of modifying it, why wouldn't you? And if that's the case, you found yourself in the right spot. As today, we're gonna break down everything that you should know as far as what modifications you need to do to your Nissan 350Z. Peanut butter chocolate flavor. Of course, before we go ahead and dive into all the fun stuff and talk about what cool car parts you can get and what you can do to make these cars faster, maybe sound a little bit better, or maybe, look the best, we should first go over a little overview of what the Nissan 350Z actually is. Stuff you should know before jumping straight into modifying them. Any weird quirks you may have, or anything that is an absolute must do when you get your hands on one of these cars. First things first, be glad we did not get anything remotely close to the concept of this car. Like seriously, look at this. I'm not sure what the whole idea behind bringing retro styling to modern cars was all about in like the early 2000s, but it just wasn't it. This thing was also powered by a KA24. Could you imagine all the 350Zs today running around with like KAs in them? Pretty wild. Anyway, the real 350Z that we do know and love isn't horrendous looking at all, and it hit the US market in 2002 and 2003. Powered by the 3.5 liter VQ35DE engine in the beginning, paired with either a 5-speed automatic or 6-speed manual transmission, provided the 350Z with right around 287 horsepower. Not bad for an early 2000s sports coupe. Later years brought a newer upgraded version of the VQ35 in the form of the HR variant in 2007, which gave the car a little more bump in horsepower to right about 306 and a higher red line of 7,500 RPM. The car itself saw a minor facelift as well as years went on, most notably in the hood of the later years to make room for the added height of the HR engine. Of course, we have the Nismo trim level as well that saw a sleeker body design for the bumpers and things, upgraded brakes and suspension, and was only available in a manual transmission. As far as common issues with these cars, the biggest one has to be, of course, their oil consumption. The VQ does, love its oil, and even though it doesn't really show itself in the form of like leaking or burning, it does use quite a bit, especially in the 2003 years. So keep an eye on your oil level. Other common issues have to do with things like the camshaft and crankshaft position sensors. Even though Nissan did issue a recall for those, they, not everyone does it, especially, they were just selling the car anyway. As far as adding power goes, the VQ is a decent motor, I would say. You're talking about a naturally aspirated V6 that's crammed into a tight engine bay, which can also be a little bit irritating to work on, which we'll get into. Your bolt-on mods and a tune won't really be any worry to the reliability of the engine. It's more when people start slapping some spoolie boys and stuff on that you start playing with fire, which again, we'll talk about in just a second. Because now that we have some general information under our belt, let's talk about getting into modifications, what you can do to your 350Z to not make it only, more fun to drive, but look good too. What we're gonna do is kind of break it down to a few different categories. So first being wheels, tires, and suspension. What are people running on these cars? What looks good? And of course, what sizes fit. Next, we'll move into performance side of things and talk about some bolt-ons for these cars and any other performance modifications that are worth it or needed. To close it out, any other modifications that we would recommend to make the driving experience more enjoyable. A new set of wheels can really make or break the look of your car. It can be like the best thing and it can be the worst thing that you can do, depending on how you do it. So let's make sure that you do it the right way the first time. First thing you're gonna need to know is your bolt pattern. Luckily, Nissan chose like the best one out there. 501 14-3 makes things really easy as it's the most popular bolt pattern and has the most options for aftermarket wheels. We went and picked out some of our favorite choices of wheels for these cars that do a few different things well. First off, they look great. Second, they aren't going to break the bank. And third, they come in on the right sizes and good finishes, and they perform well. First up on the list would be the Koenig Decagram, a 10-spoke flow form wheel that's absolutely killer on these cars. They're lightweight, they're strong, and they come in the right specs for the 350Z. Koenig has a good amount of options for these cars and is a really well trusted name in the aftermarket wheel industry. If a higher spoke design really isn't your jam and want something guaranteed to perform well and look good, you can't really go wrong with NK either. The NK RPF1 now, I know, like RPF1, right? You know, just everyone has it, whatever. But, you know, it's still an incredible wheel, especially for the price that you are paying for them. RPF1s do a really, you know, good job on pretty much any platform that they go on, and the 350Z is no exception. Our third option is of course going to be the Innovia Elder. Now, that's not just because it's our very own wheels that we spent thousands of hours of, you know, blood, sweat, and tears on, but because we were designing them specifically for the 350Z in mind. Using the same process as the other wheels mentioned before, the Elder stays incredibly lightweight while maintaining all the strength and performance that is needed out of an aftermarket wheel. Big brake clearance ensures that you can put these wheels, you know, that they're going to clear the Brembos if you have them, or if you have the big brake kit that you decided to go with. They're also directional, but unlike, you know, directional in the past, the Elder has a left and right side design to it to make sure that both sides of your car look the same. Something that was really only offered in a forged wheel option before that you're gonna pay a lot of money for, but you know, we really like you guys, so we decided to bring that into like a rotary forged option that doesn't cost nearly as much. Some other great options as well to look at would be, of course, the Kansei K&P, any of the 57 series wheels from the Graham Lights line of wheels, and of course, if you really want to ball out, you can go and snag yourself a nice set of T37s. Of course, sizing is really what's going to be important here to make sure that your wheels look good. Fitment is key. And as far as sizes go for these cars, 18s are pretty much the go-to size, and it's, you know, almost always going to see these wheels being in a staggered setup. These cars can fit some pretty big wheels and some pretty aggressive offsets. An 18 by 9.5 plus 22 up front and 18 by 10.5 plus 22 in the rear works really well. And if you want to go a little bit more aggressive with things, you can even go down to something like a plus 15 offset. If you're gonna need some new tires, you know, with your new wheels, we would recommend going with something like Falcon or Michelin or Continental. They all have some really great tire options that are going to offer both performance and comfortability for daily driving your car. It's almost like, you know, if you want to take your car to the track and, you know, drive it to and from the track, you can do that as well. Or if you just want something that performs good, looks good, and, you know, is comfortable to drive, they make some great options too. So you got your wheels and tires. Now how about some drop in ride height? And a set of aftermarket suspension can really add a ton to your car as far as like overall feel, driving experience, and looks. You get rid of that horrendous wheel gap. Dial in your fitment. So if you're looking for a set of coilovers, we'd recommend BC Racing, as they got a ton of options for the 350Z platform, and along as different series, you get some different, you know, adjustabilities on things as you go up those series and get external reservoirs and all that sort of stuff. If you're looking at, you know, tracking the car, drifting the car, whatever you might want to do, you can find a BC Racing coilover for you. If you want to go the air route, airlift performance, almost always the option here. 3-piece system, super easy to install, works great, looks really good when you air the 350Z out. It's a good setup. It comes with everything you need. Instructions super easy to follow. If there's any car group out there that loves their aftermarket exhaust, of course, it's you Z guys and gals. I'll just leave it at that. But honestly, exhaust modifications are some of the most fun modifications you can do. A cat pack exhaust is like the best route to go. Maybe a test pipe or something in there too. NVIDIA, ISR, and Tomei are among the top brands for cat pack exhaust that we see people go with for the 350Z. And Stillen, HKS also up there as well. What about other bolt-on mods? What else can we do? Headers? Hell yeah, why not? From the factory, I mean, the 350Z already has a decent set of headers on the car. I'm not gonna lie, it's really not that bad. But you can always benefit from an upgrade, especially to your exhaust system. Just keep in mind, this process is kind of a bit of a nightmare. Space is really limited in the engine bays of these cars, but brands like ISR, Tomei, and DC Sports, again, coming in on the top of that list. As far as tunes go, UpRev seems to be the standard flash tune that you can go with for pretty much everything in the Nissan community, especially for the Z platform. When it comes down to going the route of adding some forced induction on these cars, the amount of aftermarket support out there, or essentially bolt-on kit, is pretty good. Vortex supercharger kit, pretty much the most common thing that we see out there as far as adding forced induction. While a bit pricey, it's a pretty trusted kit to go with if you're looking to boost your 350Z. General consensus brings us to believe that right around 400 horsepower is that limit that you want to cap out on stock internals of the engine. But I mean, of course, providing any boost to like any NA platform can be a risky game and have different outcomes for each person. General thumb, if you're on stock internals, don't try to push anything crazy. You don't want to push it one more PSI. Don't want to do that. As far as other modifications go to make the driving experience more enjoyable for the 350Z, a lot of owners go the route of, dialing in their suspension a little bit more. From the factory, the 350Z handles pretty decent, but it is prone to a good amount of body roll. Things like upgrading your sway bars and upgraded strut bars to help mitigate that can really go a long way. This is already on top of a set of aftermarket suspension like coils or air. Brake upgrades are also fairly common in the form of upgraded pads and rotors, or even just swapping over to a big brake kit if your car didn't come with brand wheels from the factory. And they're pretty lucky if they did. Aesthetic wise, it's really all across the board, from simple lip kits to wide body kits, duck bills to chassis mounts. You see these cars being built every which way. We see people get pretty crazy with these things, and in my opinion, less is kind of more with these cars right now. They have some really great body lines to them, and something like a simple body kit can really go a long way when it comes to the overall appearance of your car. So hopefully this helped guide you in the right direction if you're looking to modify your Nissan 350Z, get you a good starting point, especially if you're looking for some aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension. And don't forget, you can check out all of those options that we listed, plus many more, over at fitmentindustries.com. We'll package those wheels and tires together for you. We'll mount, balance, and ship them for free. You can get them the same day that they arrive. You can put them on your car right away. You don't have to mess with anything. You get suspension over there as well. We got it all. So you can go check it out, fitmentindustries.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Gels. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.